This is video number 16 in the support of the 3D Experience CATIA generated shape design application. We are still dealing with the multi-section surfaces and a particular option on it, which is called Relimited on start section or Relimited on end section. So when you are in the generative shape design, this is how the ribbon looks like at the bottom of the page. If you select the surface tab, you'll find the multi-section surface in it. And upon clicking on the multi-section surface, this dialog box opens up. Now, the advanced option allows you to select a whole whack of things that can be done, and that's why it makes this icon complicated, because there are many choices. Now, if you select the advanced options option, this dialog box expands, and towards the middle, at the bottom section, you have Relimited on start section and Relimited on end section. Basically, it's dealing with a situation where the spine is longer than the position of the two end profiles and sections, or the guide actually extends past that. Okay, so let's do an example. We'll find out. The explanation is pretty good. The help is very good, except that there are some caveats that one has to be careful that if you run into a situation, it's a good idea to go and read this thing carefully. I'm using some of the stuff that's done in this webcast. It's pretty good, except that it's 5 years old, and therefore some dialog boxes looks different. All right, so let me go ahead here. Okay, I'm going to do this in the context of three profiles, three sections, and both a guide curve and a spine, where I use the relimited on the first and last sections. All right. First thing I'm going to do is to create two planes here. So offset from that, I'll make it 200. Dimensions don't matter here, but I want to have an idea of how big these things are. Another one, another plane over there. Once again, 200. They don't have to be the same length, but anyway. Now, on this one, on the first one, on the vertical YZ plane, I'll draw a rectangle. Perhaps something like this. Exit. On this one, I'll draw another rectangle. I'm doing rectangles because it's easier for me. You don't have to. You can use essentially any shape that you want. And one more. For example, on that plane, we will draw, once again, another rectangle. Very good. Okay. These planes, I don't want them, so therefore I'm going to hide them all. Okay. Now, what I will do is to, first of all, draw something that eventually will become my spine. So on the vertical plane YZ, I will sketch maybe something like this. I can use a spline, something like that. And on purpose, I make sure that it is away from this first and last section by a reasonable distance. Okay. Exit. Okay, this eventually is going to become my spine. And notice that it's extended past these two planes on both sides. And then I also want to make something that I will use it as a guide. So for example, here's one way of doing it. There are other ways. So let me go ahead and make a spline, wireframe spline. I'll make a spline. Remember, guides have to intersect the sections. So I'm going to start uh, at this point, 1. This is the second point, 2. And this is the third point, 3. Now I want to extend these things. And one way of doing it is this. You go and create a line, for example, a line point and tangent to a curve. So there is the curve, there is the point, and there's the length, but I'm going to flip it. So essentially, this becomes the extension of my guide. And I'll do it on the other side too. So another line, point, tangent to a curve. There's a curve. There's the point. And yeah, sure, that'll do it. Now, the only thing is that these are separate entities. There is 2 lines and 1 spline, So why don't I actually join them so that it becomes a single curve, which is going to be my guide. So I'm going to join this line and that spline, and this, eventually I'm going to use this thing as my guide. Good, good. So now we go to surfaces, multi-section surface. This is going to be the first section. This is the second section. This is the third section. Let's make sure that the closing points and the closing points are reasonable, consistent. Basically, that's what I mean by reasonable. Let's see now. So for this one, for all of them, the closing point. Let me see, where is it? The closing point is at the bottom left corner, and they're all going, I'm hoping, counterclockwise. This is counterclockwise. That's counterclockwise. So is this one. So if I say preview, it will actually create a multi-section surface between these 3 profiles. So let's see that. There we are. Very good. Looks like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to give it a different spine. The spine is automatically calculated. You can see that's a straight line. But I want to give it going from this section to the other one, that's the spine. But I want to make the spine this curve. So I select this default box here, and I select this this spine. And notice that I say preview, it'll change it a little bit, not much, but a little bit. Now, the only thing is that I want to extend these past where it is. So I say relimited on start section. Start section is over there. And say preview. So it goes in the other direction. And relimited on the end section. That's this section, preview. And it goes like that. Very good. Now, I want to do the same thing with the guide. Okay, so by the way, if you say, okay, this is what you're going to get. So by relimited, it allows us to go in this direction and in that direction, but by the curve, whatever the curve happens to be. In this case, it was a straight line. Remember, I joined it. So this section, these are essentially planes, pretty much. They may have a curve, yeah. These are straight line. That's really what I mean. Now, double click on this thing. Let me get rid of the spine. So clear this, clear it. Go back to where it was. Okay, let me put these things back where they are. So this is where I stood. Now, what I want to do is select the guide. For the guide, I select this box here, so it turns blue. And then I select this thing that I remember I had a spline and 2 lines, and I joined them. Now, this is going to be the guide. So if you say preview, look at what happens. It kind of, because it's a guide, it makes sure that this curve is on the surface. The surface is following the curve. Now, if I say relimited on start, that section is start, it extends it in this direction. And if I say relimited at the end, This section is the end. So it's going to go like that. So you can see what Relimited does. Relimited on start and end section does this. Basically, it extends these surfaces that create beyond where the spine or the guide is. Okay, that's pretty much it.